The draws have been made and the battle line is drawn between the 32 great nations that qualified for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. It all happened yesterday in Moscow, Russia, and of course, it's really going to be an exciting summer for us, all the football lovers, all the beautiful game lovers across the world. Welcome to Limitless Soccer, and of course, as usual, my name is Bayonle Arashi. Welcome to the show. Something very exciting is coming your way on this station, of course, that will be anchored by yours truly and one other of my colleague. It is going to be about the FIFA World Cup, and it's going to happen very, very soon on this station. Just watch out for that. But of course, this is Limitless Soccer. Let's kick off the show this week with that exciting game I promised last week. You remember, Liverpool hosted Chelsea last week Sunday at Anfield. It was a very, very, very good game. I think it was a Saturday, actually not Sunday. It was a Saturday that Liverpool hosted Chelsea. The game ended 1-1, and of course, who scored for Liverpool? Of course, you know who he is. Mo Salah did it against Chelsea. Watch that highlight, and of course, I will welcome you to the show officially today. As usual, we have it packed today on Limitless Soccer. Keep watching. Welcome back. Remember, this past week, midweek games happened in the English Premier League, and be sure on the show later on, we're going to give you some highlights of some of the actions in midweek in the English Premier League. But now we'll move to other parts of Europe. Of course, today we're going to be visiting France and, of course, Germany. The German Bundesliga hosted one of the toughest derby last weekend. That is between Borussia Dortmund and Schalke 04. It's always a very, very big derby. And in case you don't know, the Germans love their football. They really, really love it. The stadium is always very packed. But what surprised me in that game, you yourself will see it after watching the highlights. Also in France last weekend, it was the clash of two biggest giants in that league, AFC Monaco. Of course, our own former Chelsea technical director, now the technical director of FC Monaco, Michael Emenalo, was announced this past week that he is now the head of technical department of that particular big club, AFC Monaco, and I'm sure he is going to bring a lot of success to Monaco as he did for Chelsea over the past decade. But of course, we have the highlight of AFC Monaco versus Paris Saint-Germain, that team that has this most expensive assembled squad this season. Enjoy those two highlights in Germany and of course in France, and the show continues. Welcome back to the show. This past week, Wednesday and Thursday, was actually the biggest week for US soccer, as of course the finalists for the MLS Championship was decided in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Toronto FC hosted FC Columbus Crew this past Wednesday, and of course the finalists was decided for the Eastern Conference, but we were mostly interested in the Western Conference affair. It was Houston Dynamo away at Seattle Sounders. That was a huge game. You need to see the highlights to see the two teams that made it to the MLS Cup final this year. Did our Houston did it? I'm sure you know the result already, but you need to see what happened in that particular game. I'll be back after you watching that particular game between Seattle Sounders and of course our own Houston Dynamo. Finally on the show today on this wonderful Saturday, and of course I want to use this opportunity to wish all the fans of this show and all the fans of this station and all my own fans across the world a happy new month. It is the last month in the wonderful year of 2017, and I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant and beautiful holidays for all of you across the entire country. God bless you all, and of course as we enter into this beautiful month of December, I said it and I promised earlier on the show that it was the turn of English Premier League on Tuesday and Wednesday, there were games in the English Premier League. But one of the games that really stood out for me was that one between Leicester City and, of course, Tottenham Hotspur. A lot of people had hopes for Spurs and saying that if they could keep their performance to the Christmas, they might just be the champions of the league this season. But you know they have no chance because Manchester City is crushing everyone. They're doing it just in grand style. But of course, we have the highlights of Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspur, and of course some other highlights. Manchester United were in action. They trashed Watford 4-2, and of course some other great games over the past week in the English Premier League. And I'll be back to round off the show for this wonderful week. Well, that's the much we can bring you today on Limitless Soccer. You know, the show that celebrates the beautiful game. Next week on the show, will be all about the FIFA World Cup. All the 5 African teams that qualified for the FIFA World Cup now know who they will be facing at that particular big Mundial come next summer in Russia. And of course, we're going to take them on one after the other. We also have a soccer show dedicated to the FIFA World Cup coming up on this station very soon. You need to watch out for that. It's going to be with me and with my friend Sam Mbano, and of course it's going to be really wonderful time with you guys on the show. I have to go now, and of course I'll see you guys again next week, God willing. My name is Bayonle Arashi. Bye now.